Good afternoon. My name is Jess.
And I am Rasmus.
And you're watching The Journal.
Today's show is about something that I'm really passionate about.
Yeah, what's that?
Passion.
You know, I wish I could say the same, but I haven't really found that one thing that I'm really passionate about, you know?
Really?
Yeah.
I kind of find that hard to believe with you.
I mean, it's not that easy. It's like, I like a lot of things here and there, but I haven't found the thing.
Okay. Well, then I hope the show makes you and you inspired to find your new passion.
I hope so.
Man, what is there to watch on TV nowadays?
Absolutely nothing.
Journal, live from Centennial. We're gonna kill it today.
Okay, do you have a tippy?
Go fish. Okay. Playing cards is supposed to be like fun and a good way to make friends.
No, you don't make friends, you make enemies.
Well, mostly friends though. I mean, so take Yu-Gi-Oh! For example, right? It spawned a huge passionate fan base all over the world since like 1999.
Really? Well, our first documentary will open up this world for us, so let's check it out.
You're not supposed to say that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so let's check it out.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Started out as a Japanese manga series. Later on, it got an animated TV adaptation which gained a lot of popularity. And it's true that popularity on how it became an actual card game. I was a really big fan of the series growing up. The TV show just really hooked me in. So naturally, I ended up buying the cards as well. And let me tell you, these little pieces of cardboard ended up being way more important to me than I could ever realize. I wasn't a very social kid growing up. I always ended up keeping to myself, and all the other kids never really liked me all that much. So I never really had a lot of friends growing up. That all changed one day during a break period in my class. I overheard some kids talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! And naturally, me being me, I ended up inviting myself into the conversation. We talked about Yu-Gi-Oh! A few more times, which led us to start trading cards with each other, and eventually started having actual matches against each other during lunch. All of a sudden, I went from having no friends whatsoever to having an entire group I could play with, and it started expanding to not only lunch meetups, but also hanging out after school and sometimes our own houses. It's thanks to these cards that I ended up having a social life. I learned how to interact with people through shared interests, something that I might have never had if I never gotten into the card game to begin with. As the years went on, those friends that I made either moved away, or we grew distant from each other. Along with my already waning interest in the series, I just ended up dropping the card game altogether, and didn't even interact with the series at all for an entire decade. That was until 2020. That year was a pretty low point in my life. I wasn't doing very well during that time. That was until one of my online pals who still played the game convinced me to get back into it. So I picked the game back up. And let me tell you, I fell back in love. This time, it was in a completely different form. Instead of playing with the actual physical cards, I would play the game through online simulators. And the game changed a lot during those 10 years, and was almost unrecognizable to me. Despite all that, I was still having a blast. That same childhood love that I had for the game persisted with me even to my adult years. And through that, it was kind of able to do the exact same thing it did for me back then, now. Sure, this time I did have friends, but even so, I was still able to build new connections and make new friends through it. Let me tell you, we ended up building like deck lists together. We would constantly play games against each other. It brought me back to those old days and built some of the best friendships I've had today. And in the shit years that's 2020, it was absolutely something I needed.
Oh my God, it looks like they're having so much fun. Unlike us.
It's because we're missing something.
What?
We're missing snacks.
Oh. Oh,
What? Why didn't you tell me you had snacks, Rasmus? You're disgusting. Like, what do you want? You think I'm actually gonna eat that now?
I don't know. Relax.
I eat off of a table, not your disgusting hands.
Okay, I'm sorry, okay. But you know, if you don't want to eat this, I know like something really classy. A place you can go with someone who knows a lot about a great restaurant experience.
Okay, show me.
It really just comes down to the basics. It's making people happy and making really good food. My name is Giannaris. I am 20 years old, cooking for the past 20 years, and I've been doing so professionally for the past 4 months. I grew up in Toronto, here in Canada, where I spent most of the time with my family, and we would cook together. We would all go out together if we went out for dinner or just went on trips. A couple years down the road, parents split, ended up moving in with my dad. From there, he and I started cooking amazing food together. Almost every night, we would make a new dish, try a new recipe, all different types of cuisines, Greek, Indian, everything. My grandparents over in Greece, they taught me so many different skills and different cooking methods and stuff that's been handed down from generations to generations. Somewhere in my closet, I have a cookbook from like 100 years ago from my ancestors that I still carry with me as a bit of a memento and something to look back on. And then from there, I kind of decided one day to, well, what if I try making something? Started with eggs, which I burned. Started with toast, which I also burned. But eventually, you kind of start getting used to it, and progressively, it went from just making breakfast to making lunch to making dinner. And then later on to where I am now, currently a restaurant where I work, Bomer. I am in charge of the desserts and the appetizers. The best part of working at Bomer is the team. Everyone I work with is at the top of their game every day, even though sometimes we fool around, sometimes we mess up. We always find a way to redeem ourselves and kind of hit it even harder the next day. When I first started working in the restaurant I'm at right now, I got cuts, burns, scrapes. It was messy, especially when you're first starting out in a new industry, one that you're not used to. You're gonna run into hassles and roadblocks along the way. And all over me, my hands, my arms, I think some parts of my face. I think I've hit the burner too many times. Does it bother me? No, I think it's great. So it's a little weird. I love scars, and I love just like looking at. I'm a person of stories, and when I see a scar, when I see a scratch or a scrape or anything like that, I think back to it. And I'm like, oh, that's how I got that. I did something really dumb, and now it's on me forever. I would love to travel the world. I would love to try different cuisines from different countries, and maybe one day even further down the line, open a restaurant of my own. I would love for my restaurant to just be a very inviting, really cool place. Somewhere where you can go get a drink, you can get a nice bite to eat. Affordable, of course. You don't want to spend like $300 on dinner. But just the passion and care that goes into the food, and that's represented in the staff, and that's represented in the drinks that complement the food, and just providing a positive space. I don't think I would ever get tired of cooking. It's a passion, it's a hobby, it's a dream.
You know, I actually feel like my serotonin levels went up after watching that.
but did your passion levels go up?
What? How do you even measure passion?
But you can measure speed.
What are you talking about?
Talking about. Driving.
Wanna go for a ride?
Sure. We can take my car. There.
You have an Infinity?
No, the Camaro. Hey! Hey! Can you see him fucking parked there?
Okay, well, let's take some lessons from someone who actually knows about cars.
I first started drifting when I got my Lexus. I took my interest so much. I'm Max Phillips. I am 19 years old and I am a mechanic. I first got into cars when I got my very first car. It was my brother, he gave it to me. It was a 2003 Jetta. It was a TDI, I believe, yeah, the diesel. I've owned in a total 7 cars. So what I like to do in my free time, I like to go drifting. First started off by doing donuts at the nearest intersection. From there, it went to me doing sim drifting, which is an Assetto Corsa in the video game. Very realistic and could really help improve my real life skills at the track. Alright, so what I'm playing here is called Assetto Corsa. It's a drifting simulator. It's made to feel like real life, like all the controls and how the car feels and how basically your overall experience in the game. So what this game, god damn, why do I keep saying So professional drifters in real life actually use this game as practice. So when they go into an actual real life track, which they actually have in this game as well, they can practice it in this game before they do it in real life and could like potentially save their cars. So this is my dad's car. We're doing some last minute changes. We're just swapping out the front coilovers because the other ones went bad. So this thing can do well on the track. What it's like drifting is very technical and it's really you feeling out the car. The feeling, a lot of adrenaline as you are going 50 kilometers an hour or more sideways with the vehicle. So you can really have a lot of adrenaline running through you. I see myself in the future either becoming a full-time mechanic running my dad's shop, or if my drifting career picks up, maybe I can become a full-time drifter.
Wow, I never thought cars could be so fun.
I knew.
Okay.
I used to be like all about that though, and for some reason I just I can't get into it anymore.
That sucks. But you know, sometimes it happens, you know, sometimes things don't always go the way you expect them to.
True.
When I first moved here, it was quite clear to me that I would be following the traditional cinematography route, and the end goal was to be a DOP. But now, having explored a bit of that world, I think my feelings have changed a bit. During this whole semester, I've spent more time in the TV studio than my own home. And I spent most of that time trying to figure out what I was doing wrong. I sort of felt like I was stuck in a creative block. I couldn't really film anything for weeks. I ended up dropping a course, but I couldn't figure out the reason for this. Also, trying to balance my mental and physical health along with the creative process can be a bit too much at times. It kind of makes you feel useless. Makes you question whether all this work is even worth it. Luckily, due to COVID, most of the time the entire campus was empty, which gave me a lot more time to figure out what I want to do. After 2 semesters of filmmaking, I figured out that that sort of filmmaking process isn't something that would make me feel creatively fulfilled. I don't know what I'll do from this point onwards, but I have figured it out before, and I'll figure it out again.
Like, where's Rasmus, man? Like, he should be here by now. He's always late. I don't know, like, where is he? I don't know.
What you think of my new jacket?
It's so bright. Please, step
you.
away. Step away, Rasmus. Come on.
Come on, it's
No,
like
no.
eco-friendly, it's sustainable,
You
it's
look
good for the
stupid.
environment. It's like lean and green.
Right? Well, you know, I know someone who's actually very passionate about this.
Really?
Yeah, but it looks much better than this.
Okay.
My main goal, I'd say, is because I don't want Inward to just be a clothing brand. Like, I don't want people to just come to me, buy clothes, and then leave. I really want to build a community and build a safe space for people that we can all help each other out. My name is Marina Santos. I'm 19 years old, and I'm the founder and CEO of Inward Clothing, which is a sustainable clothing line started in Toronto, and I also hand make everything for it. So when it comes to Inward, I'm pretty much responsible for all of it. Like, everything that you see, most of the time is done by me. So the process kind of like starts from like getting ideas, brainstorming. A lot of ideas will like randomly come to me, so I just like write them down. And then it comes to like reaching out to find like sustainable fabrics that I could use, making the patterns and making the samples for the garments, sewing all the garments. Reach out to photographers, reach out to models. And then I'm also in charge of like all the social media, the Instagram, everything, do all the e-commerce, so pretty much everything for the brand I do. But when it comes to values, I would say my main value is that everything and everyone involved isn't harmed like emotionally or physically, because I'd say that's really common in the fashion industry for people to be like overworked and underpaid. So yeah, I try to make sure that everything is very ethically correct and that it's just done from like a place of love. I always try to think of like the exact pivotal moment that it kind of happened, and I think that it was honestly a slow, gradual, organic process. I mean, ever since a kid, I've always loved like dressing up, like wearing cute outfits. It always made me like feel really good. But when it comes to like the actual becoming a clothing designer, I would say it kind of started when I kind of saw like a hole in the market, because I couldn't really find the clothes that I wanted for like a price that I could afford. So I got my sewing machine early in the pandemic, and then, yeah, I kind of just started from that. Like, I definitely have always known that I didn't want to work for myself, that I didn't want to work for other people. I mean, like, I wanted to work for myself. Yeah, I'd say there's definitely a lot of challenges, and I try to be very open about them with my community. I would say the majority of my challenges come, like, for myself and my own inner critic. So, like, I find that I make a lot of stuff, and I just like don't like it after. So it's like kind of creative slumps that happen, and I think those are definitely like part of the process. I would say the challenge that kind of society, I would say, puts on young women entrepreneurs specifically is kind of, I would say usually in like business and brands, like it's run by men and they kind of have a different approach. It's a very like aggressive approach. And I try to have more of like a nurturing approach and really like do it for fun and not force the process. Like if I don't want to launch a collection and it doesn't feel authentic, I'm not going to do it just because like I need to make money or something like that. Yeah, I definitely like to dream big because I really think that anything's possible, and I try to like my main goal is to really just like inspire people to do what they want to do. My main goal, I would say, is because I don't want Inward to just be a clothing brand. Like, I don't want people to just come to me, buy clothes, and then leave. I really want to build a community and build a safe space for people that we can all help each other out. I'm still figuring out exactly where I'm going to pivot, like how I'm going to pivot towards that. The clothing will always be there as a base, but yeah, I definitely think that the community aspect is the most important, and finding a way that we can kind of come together to really heal the planet as a collective, I would say.
I'm telling you, there's going to be a change in the fashion industry. And I don't mean just fashion, I mean like environmentally there's going to be a change.
I just love seeing so much creativity everywhere.
True. 2 places for you filled with creativity. One of them is Toronto, obviously.
Obviously.
And the other one is Portsmouth.
Portsmouth?
Yeah.
Okay.
England, baby.
Okay, well then let's go for a walk. Together.
Okay.
I said walk!
Most of Toronto is modern, and it's hard to find old architecture and art installations between these high glass skyscrapers. Luckily, there is still some history left in this city. I'm Valeria Kleshchenko, and today we will explore a historical village in Toronto, the Distillery District.
Oh wow, if you love old architecture, Portsmouth is the place for you. I'm Tom Hatton, and today we're walking through Old Portsmouth, a lovely part of the city.
It all started in 1832 with a small windmill, then Cotterham and Wards founded the place that grew into largest distillery in the world. After more than 100 years of glory, it closed down in 1990, but was reopened in 2003 as Distillery Historic District. It became popular among tourists and local people as well. You will never get bored in this place because there are a lot of places to see, such restaurants, stores, shops, galleries, cafes, theaters, and even more.
As you'll see on our walk today, Portsmouth is filled with a rich history, historical buildings and art installations, so let's carry on. Portsmouth, a city renowned for its harbour and ships. As you may see, there's quite a few historical Royal Navy monuments, installations and buildings like this one here.
There are a lot of creative stuff in this district. One of the most eye-catching things over here is peace sign. It was created by Matthew Rosenblatt, who was born here in Toronto. And this sign represents the harmony between people from different communities and Toronto's diversity. For me, it's the symbol of only together we can create something beautiful and nice.
We're finishing this section of our walk in Old Portsmouth, surrounded by this old sea wall, and now we're heading along the coast, further down to South Sea.
Wow, it was a really nice place for walk. I wish it could be there by myself. But now it's my turn to show you something heartwarming. This is the love sign, which was created in 2014,
And in the beginning it was just letters love, and all these lockers was added by people in love during 8 years. So it was inspired by Bridge and Paris, but it's safe on the ground because people in love don't have to worry about their love side here. And now it's my turn to add my locker and express my love to this place.
We're now nearing South Sea Beach, which is located just behind us, but we're here to look at the tread-gold fish sculpture created by local artist Pete Codling. So let's continue. The fish sculpture we're looking at today is to raise awareness for plastic pollution and recycling. So let's go over and see how many bottles are in it today. The sculpture can fit a whopping 12,000 bottles, so let's add one more. Part of the sculpture is a man holding his phone. Although you can't see it now due to all the bottles, when it's emptied, and it shows society's ignorance of plastic recycling and pollution within the sea.
It's a great way to attract society attention to ecological crisis and plastic overconsumption. I hope it's just the beginning of beneficial use of plastic and changes in human minds. I really enjoy this walk and I feel a lot of love around me, and I hope you too. Thank you for walking with me.
7, 6, 5. Are you okay? Are you okay?
No, I'm not.
Well, you know.
What?
What?
What are you gonna say?
I'm just gonna say that.
You know what always cheers me up?
Dancing.
Yeah. How
I
did
knew
you
you were.
know?
I knew you were gonna say dancing cheers you up.
You know why? It's because there's like actually a science behind this,
Okay,
right?
tell me,
So
yes, yeah.
when you dance, serotonin is like released in your brain.
Okay, thank you
and-
very much. We're gonna stop you there because no one really cares that much. I just think it's nice to look at people dancing, you know? So you just gotta give me like 2 minutes so that I can enjoy it fully. So here we have Camila, who's a talented Centennial student, and she's gonna show us her own choreography.
I can't believe we're finally alone. I can't believe I almost went home. What are the chances? Everyone's dancing and he's not with you. The universe must have defined this. What am I gonna do? Not grab your wrist. I could be a better boyfriend than him. I could do the shit that he never did. Up all night, I won't quit thinking I'm gonna steal you from him. I could be such a gentleman. Plus all my clothes would fit. I could be a better boyfriend. I don't need to tell you twice all the ways you can't suffice. If I could give you some advice, I would leave with me tonight. The universe must have defined it. Ladies first, baby, I insist. I could be a better boyfriend than him. I could do the shit that he never did. Up all night, I won't quit thinking I'm gonna steal you from him. I could be such a gentleman. Plus all my clothes would fit. I could be a better boyfriend than him. shit that he never did. Up all night, I won't quit. I'm gonna steal you from him. I could be such a gentleman. Plus, you know my clothes would fit. I could be a better boyfriend than him. I could do the shit that he never did. Up all night, I won't quit. Thinking I'm gonna steal you from him. I could be such a gentleman. Plus, all my clothes would fit.
Wow.
Wow.
So nice. Wow, wow,
So,
wow.
do you think you're any closer to finding out your passion now?
You know, I think hosting was really nice. I think it's something I like. You know, our documentaries and great performances made me feel a lot better. So maybe this could be something that I do.
Jess, you are the best co-host I could have asked for.
Thank you, Rasmus. So are you.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, so am I. You suck. You suck.
Okay.
So this has been The Journal. Next week, we're going to discuss the purpose of life. What is it? So we'll see you next week.
Bye.